Being an entrepreneur is hardly a walk in the park. Being a social entrepreneur comes with its own unique wins and challenges. Hi, I'm Ayesha Naseem, co-founder of LiveWire, an online platform that is all about the first-person narrative of the startup ecosystem in the UAE. In May 2018, I was accepted to the Badiri Social Entrepreneurship Programme on a scholarship along with 12 extraordinary women. It led to the start of a campaign for educating about and advocating for social entrepreneurship. With thanks to Nama Women Advancement Establishment and School for Social Entrepreneurs, LiveWire is bringing to the forefront voices of social entrepreneurs right here in the UAE in a special podcast and blog series. This week, we are in conversation with Assia Riccio, who is also a fellow cohort member of the program. How did we meet and what are we doing now? Listen to find out.
Hi, my name is Assia Riccio and I'm the founder of Evolvin Women.
Hi Assia. First questions first. What are your interests? It's so difficult to imagine you not doing what you do every day. So I really want to know what it is that you do when you decide to take some time off.
When I'm off?
Yes, when you're off.
Well, I'm barely off at the moment. To be honest, I don't remember the last time I had a full day off. Of course, I've been away, I've been on holiday. I usually spend time with my husband and my little dog. When you start your journey as an entrepreneur, you don't get time, or especially if you live with someone who has a job, you might struggle to find time to spend together, especially during the week. I think my main focus is about spending quality time.
Give a background of how we know each other. We first contact with each other through Twitter, and that was at the Women Economic Empowerment Global Summit that was organized by NAMA sometime in January of 2018. And then at the time you were doing a panel discussion. Fast forward 5 months, we're now on the cohort for social entrepreneurship. Before we get into that, please explain, what does Evolvin Women do?
Evolvin Women is a social enterprise that helps hospitality businesses in the Middle East to embed social responsibility in their business models and in their HR practices. Work with unemployed women in developing countries who are either victim of rape, violence, or come from a poor background, and as a result of that, they've had very limited access to education. So we train them for 3 months by using technology, and then we connect them to hotels in the Middle East, in Dubai specifically now, where they can secure a full-time job for 12 or 24 months. And then at the end of this experience in Dubai, we basically help them find a job back in their home country.
This is an interesting story, and people should know about what got you started in this whole arena of social entrepreneurship.
I come from a family of philanthropists, so my parents have always been involved in community work, especially my mom. When I was 8, she became very close to a foundation in the south of Italy, and she began to help the foundation raise money to pay for school fees for children in South America. And she came home one night and she was quite disappointed because what she realized was that the children she was paying school fees for were ending up basically leaving Brazil to find jobs in the US. So she came home and she was very upset, and she had a chat with the foundation, and she strongly believed that these children had to stay actually in their community to inspire other children and also to generate employment and community growth. So the foundation told her that basically there was very little they could do. They were trying to solve these problems, but they couldn't really tackle it. So she came back and she said, well, I have to do something about this. And she started contacting all the local farmers where the children were from. Was asking the farmers basically to employ the children she was putting through education. And that's how she managed to actually keep lots of teenagers and young adults in their community so that they could actually help their families and so on. So I'm using the same model of education plus employment in Evolving Women, but I'm trying to make it sustainable so that I can keep that legacy, my mom's legacy, but at the same time I can make it sustainable and run it as a business.
That's a way of continuing a legacy, and it's a beautiful one. What has been your biggest challenge in trying to separate Evolving Women from being identified as a not-for-profit, as an NGO, or as not a company which is for-profit?
Well, I think it was actually quite straightforward because I didn't have an option really. So I registered the company as for-profit,
right.
And the way I'm managing right now is actually not-for-profit.
Okay.
So we are, we're trying to basically invest profit back into the organization.
All right. How would you define social entrepreneurship?
People always think of having to have and come up with this big idea, with this massive technology that's going to save the planet. But, I think a social entrepreneur is anyone who actually is brave enough to take an existing business model and actually make that social. It's anyone who has identified the social issue and through whatever basically he or she is doing is actually trying to reduce or tackle the social issue for a long-term impact. So I always say, as a coffee shop, you can donate a kg of coffee every month to a foundation or to someone, or you can embed social responsibility in your business model by actually using fair trade coffee.
Right.
It's a business model, successful business model. You can make money out of it, but someone who's using fair trade coffee is basically trying to impact a community somewhere in the world. So,
yeah, beautifully put. You can embed elements and you can turn things on its head. Okay, so here's something you should know about Assia. She is immensely humble, and you wouldn't know about her accomplishments unless you really poke her and ask her about it. So you're a TEDx speaker, you have won awards, you are associated with the United Nations as well.
We became one of the first micro-enterprises with less than 10 employees in the Middle East to become signatory to the UN Global Compact.
What has got you going? Your education versus what you're doing now. Do you see a gap in the skills that you needed to do what you're doing today, or do you think everything sort of happened in the manner that it was supposed to happen?
It's a very good question.
Wonderful.
So you're asking whether my educational journey basically brought me to where I am today. I think in some ways, yes. I was very, very lucky because I have always wanted to work in hospitality since I was a little girl. My father used to travel a lot, and he would come home with brochures. At that time, you had brochures from travel agencies.
Right.
And I used to get all these travel agencies, basically brochures, and cut all the photos of these places he had been to. And I just wanted to travel. I just wanted to work in hotels and go and see places. So it's always been in the back of my mind, and I've that's what I've studied till the age of 14. So everything has led me to where I'm today in terms of education. Yes.
Wow.
I think I've just been able to build on what I've done before and just grow in that way.
Now we'll come to working very closely to the point we've been in the same room for weeks together, sitting down on the floor, sketching things out, discussing, debating, pitching, and everything. What brought you to apply to the Badiri Social Enterprise Program?
Couple of reasons, really. Well, first of all, this is a bit of a funny story, but
We love funny stories.
so I have been following School for Social Entrepreneurs for years. I used to work in the UK, so I knew of them, and I actually knew of people who had gone through the program and they loved it, and some of them are still in touch with them. And so I loved the program, I loved the school. At that time, when I looked at the program, I wasn't ready. It was many, many years ago, and I wasn't even thinking about starting anything. So it was very early stage, but I loved the concept of social entrepreneurship. What happened was that I was actually on social media, and I came across the post from Nama advertising the program.
Right.
And there were two things there. Of course, there was the catch of SSE.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I said, oh, great, here we go again, I meet you again, SSE. And the other thing was because it was organized by Badiri. Badiri was one of the organizations that actually told me no when I started. So I went to sort of pitch my idea, and it was a no. And so I saw SSE, I saw Badiri, and I'm like, gosh. And then I said, actually, who knows, it's like 9 months forward, maybe things have changed, maybe I'm a bit more mature, my concept is a bit more evolved. This was 9 months later, and I said, well, maybe, 9 months have gone past, so the concept has evolved, and I have more substance, more content really to present, more things to present. So I applied, and I went through the first selection process, and then we met there. We met at the office where we had a workshop, and then there was this second interview. And there were 4 people I could have interviewed with. And who do I happen to interview? With the same person that actually told me no 9 months prior. So as soon as I saw that on the schedule, I was like, this is not going to happen then. But then I said, well, let me try. So I went in, very confident about what I was doing. And that person loved what I was talking about.
Yes.
And I remembered.
Lovely.
Talking, previously. Yeah.
So it works out well.
I'm very
How
pleased.
did your company evolve in that 9 months? The gap?
I think it was not only the concept, it was also about understanding the market better.
Right.
So now it was not me chasing the market, but actually the market was about what I was doing. And it was also about listening to, because I was very much focused on solving a social issue in Africa, but I wasn't really thinking about, the commercial side of things and how I could make that sustainable here in Dubai. What changed was me actually listening to the market here and understand how solving that social issue could also benefit companies here.
HR managers are notorious for the way that policies have to be applied, so on and so forth. How do you go about convincing them that you can have your policies in place but make them more accepting of the goals that United Nations has proposed, or generally makes more sense to have more women at the table?
I mean, to be honest, I enjoy working with people in HR.
Lovely.
And also because I was part of an HR team and training team. Actually, I enjoy working with them, trying to understand what challenges they're going through. Yes, and don't go into an organization and say, you need to connect with our girls because you need more women in your organization. It's not about that. The issue we're solving is different. We're trying to create a better environment for them where they can grow and they can learn skills that they're not able to access back in their own country. And also what I really believe is with an international experience, they can really go back and make a difference because they have seen something done in a different way they had not seen before. So develop in your own country, that's good. But you need to have that open mind to also understand and see other things. Otherwise, you won't be able to make any changes or to improve anything. And it's about better opportunities, better chance in life. And I think especially HR department want to be part of helping someone get better in life because that's why they work in HR, right? They want to work with people. Going back to what you were saying about the policy, I think one thing that I had to look at is develop a value proposition that actually is flexible enough that doesn't go against any policies, because organizations are heavy on policies, and that's fine, that's the way it is. So they're also building a value proposition that is not challenging the policies. So let me give an example. We talk about the 12 months experience, which is renewable, extendable to up to 24 months. There are certain hotels that would only pay the ticket back to get the repetition ticket basically after 2 years. Now I know with those hotels, I need to place women who are actually willing to stay for 2 years.
True. Right.
So now my value proposition is more flexible. Because if I go in and say, no, it's actually 12 months or nothing, then I'm not going to work with them. And that's a policy, and that's fine.
And we can work around those policies.
Yeah, absolutely. We can work around those policies.
That's interesting. Do hotels work with you improving their recruitment process, or are they looking at it as a CSR initiative?
They're literally doing corporate social responsibility through us. Okay. And that's why we talk about embedding social responsibility in the HR practices.
All right, so for hotels, it is still a corporate social responsibility practice to have more mindful recruiting when it comes to that.
It's about, using the business to actually not only empower women within their organization or people within their organization, but also women outside their organization. So now they're using the business as a platform to actually empower women who come from communities where they would never get a chance to work in Hilton, in Radisson, in these massive, incredible chains.
Fantastic. Okay, take me through what has been, without giving away what we've done so far, because we've not discussed yet on the blog. So without giving away a lot of details, what has been the biggest light bulb moment?
The light bulb moment. Oh, there were several.
The biggest one, where it just went boing, or whatever sound it makes when it's your bulb, it's fine.
Can't really pinpoint one, and I can't pinpoint a moment or something that someone said. I think it's been a combination where,
it's lovely.
It's been a combination of what people have said in class, the other social entrepreneurs, facilitators, the speakers. It has just been a journey where I felt I was growing. The impact was so visible in the way I was thinking about things differently, in the way I was feeling about things.
Reflection and ambition. How do you reflect on your journey with Evolvin Women, and what's the ambition for it? Where do you aspire to take it?
So far it's been incredible, and I've learned so much. I've learned so much about myself, and I have learned so much about people around me. I've been able to strengthen relationships with people, with certain people in my life, and that was incredible because sometimes, you know, the and I know this sounds like cliche, you know, the people you don't expect basically to support you, actually they show more often the people you would expect to support you. So I've learned a lot. I've seen true colors of people. I've learned something about myself which I have probably always known. I have never challenged myself to that point to actually try it out. So I'm very active. My brain doesn't stop ever. Like I have a washing machine in my head. I mean, my brain, it just never stops. I mean, I can get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've always known that my brain doesn't stop. But one thing I've learned throughout this journey is that actually it's fine that it doesn't stop, as long as whatever you think in your head is going towards a vision, or is going towards one objective.
You don't feel so horrible about the way your mind works anymore because you realize...
No, because I know I'm working now towards something that I believe in it. So you feel like, oh yeah, I understand, you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I just woke up with this random idea. But you know that in 3 days' time, you're going to find that idea that actually is going to fit into something you were already working about. This thing that my mind never stops, in the past, I took it as there is something wrong with me. To do meditation, I need to be able to stop. But actually, there are ideas that come up and they actually work.
What's your ambition?
Well, it's more about expanding in more countries. So we are looking at Namibia, South Africa, and Kenya at the moment. And we're about to launch in some of these countries. India is one of the places I'm looking at. I think that's more in terms of countries, but there are a few projects in the pipeline. They are very, very exciting. So one of them is literally happening at the moment. So we are designing it. And another one has to do with technology and app development. That's also another interesting project.
So we're going to leverage tech that helps you deliver on your vision.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, here's something in my mind, especially when I'm thinking about my own social enterprise. You said when you're listening to people for feedback, and you constantly do that, you realize at some point that you're no longer building a company you wanted, you're just bringing together puzzle pieces. You're now building something which is everybody else's opinion of your company, and no longer your company. Which is very profound because people don't know when to draw that line. Feedback, unnecessary information, or information overload. So when you're working in a sensitive environment where you're connecting with different countries, etc., what has been the most important feedback that you've received?
The best feedback. I can tell you one feedback I really don't like.
Even better.
You need to slow down. You can't run before you walk. That's true. It's so true, but annoys me so much because I want to run. So I would rather get a feedback or an advice on how to go from walking to running faster.
Sustain and then keep going.
Yeah, instead of saying, just stop doing it. You can't. I want to run. Tell me how I can go faster from walking to running. Don't tell me don't do it.
Okay, all right. I should bear this in mind as well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, and I'm so happy we finally got this done. This has been a long time coming.
It was lovely talking to you.
That was Assia Riccio. On our previous episode, we spoke with Padmini Gupta, co-founder and CEO of Rise. Find the link to the episode in the description box below. Like the content, give us a thumbs up, and tell everyone you know.